Welcome to the watch list. It is a marvelous episode for you today. Yes, we're getting ready for the Marvels. And so, Laura, I'd love to hear what your thoughts were, your initial thoughts were on the Marvels.
Well, if hearing that setup makes you think, what's going on? And you don't necessarily feel fully across the plot, that is okay, because it was the same experience for those of us watching it as well. Because what they're trying to do with this movie, at least at face value it seems, is bring together these three independent superhero characters, these three independent females of the MCU, and then create this new trifecta, this new kind of team. So at face value, I liked what they were trying to do, that they're trying to look at the lens of superhero identities through a different kind of mechanism than what they've done with some of the other movies. But I don't think the delivery was as strong as fans of the MCU, as those that support this kind of evolution would really want it to be.
Yeah, it really didn't. It seemed a bit disjointed, but probably one of the biggest problems I have is what they've done and kind of how they've written Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel is supposed to be kind of a Superman type character in the Marvel universe. She's invincible, she can fly, she can travel all these different places, but yet she doesn't have kind of that quiet confidence and charisma that you normally kind of associate with Superman. So it's kind of hard to like her. And I know that some people would blame Brie Larson for that, but I think it's really the way that she's been written. Because the other issue is that Kamala Khan was the most appealing of the three, but yet she's meant to be kind of more of a sidekick type of character, not the leader. So there seemed to be kind of a flipping of the script and some challenges here that really kind of made this a bit of a debacle to me.
And it's strange because it's almost like Captain Marvel doesn't really know what her place is there. Like there's not, like what they've kind of done in some respects is muddle it a little bit too much, because what makes some of the previous Marvel films so strong was that each of the heroes had such a distinct identity. The films had such a distinct flavor in their own right. Like if you were a fan of Captain America, you were a fan of him, his style, his kind of world. Same with Thor. Like that's so different from what you get from Iron Man. And then you bring Guardians of the Galaxy into that, and it's like that's the one with the comedy and the good soundtrack and all of that sort of a thing. Like each distinct hero had such a very clear objective, very clear identity. And when the first Captain Marvel came out, she had that. You know, you could see who Captain Marvel was, you could have fun with it, you really got a sense of how Brie Larson fit into that character and what they were trying to do with it. But then this is the sequel to that movie. Like, let's not forget, the Marvels is meant to be the direct sequel to Captain Marvel, but there's been so many other things in between in terms of the spin-off TV series, the Miss Marvel series, that the character that you're brought in the Marvels from Captain America is quite different to the one that you get in the first film. And there's not that same, I think it's hard to relate to her as a character, as you said, because there's not really this like distinct anchor that makes her and that you can really run with. Like if you're a fan of Captain Marvel, it's hard to sort of find her in this movie as much. And then what they have done with her is quite different from what they've done in the first film, that it sort of dilutes her power as a character, I think.
Kind of curious, because you and I had a great chat last night after watching the film too, about the value of, I think sometimes we have that complete move to another side of things, in the sense that, you know, we moved from being a very male-centric kind of Avengers to all of a sudden now trying to move to a primarily female-centric kind of Avengers. And I really liked what some of the things you were saying in regards to that. I'd be kind of curious, kind of, if you kind of want to tease that out a little bit.
Well, I think this is kind of going to be what the makers of Marvel wish, or the makers of the Marvels rather, wish people would be talking about afterwards, because the movie's groundbreaking in some really significant ways. It's a female hero team of three, you know, led by Captain Marvel. The baddie is a female. Like, this is a female-led movie, which is something to note, is something that should have space to be celebrated, is something that should, you know, it's notably distinct from all of the other Marvel movies and shows that we've seen before. But then strangely, I feel like the possibilities of that were undermined by the delivery. Like, I wanted to celebrate a story that sees these kind of characters be able to take charge in a way. Like I'm kind of careful how I express this because I don't think that you should have movies that life is co-ed. You know, we exist in a world of male and female and everybody else in between that contributes to society. So you don't want what we see on screen to be an isolated version of real life, right? Like I think what this movie did was make it so female-centric or women-centric that you alienate, particularly in the context of these movies, you alienate a fan base who don't know where they fit now. Like, and some people will be like, oh, boo-hoo, shame for the guys that don't know where they fit. Like, what a shame that you're trying to work out where you fit in this female world. Like, sorry for you. Like, I get that. But I think, you know, because I get, like, right? Like, it's like, oh, shame, you don't know where you fit? Like, welcome to some women's stories. But it's like, I even, from my perspective, thought what you've done is thin these characters down to a degree where it feels like when women lead these stories, they're kind of wishy-washy with it a bit. Like, Wonder Woman is one of the best of the bunch.
Phenomenal.
Right? Like, so it's like this can be done so well. It's disappointing when it's not. And I also thought in trying to kind of include everybody, you're alienating so many people because I know for me watching movies like Captain America, like Thor, and sort of as the woman watching it, you have an entrance into the movie because you like the story, you like the action. And sure, let's be honest, there's a lot of women that don't watch Thor for the action. Like, they're there to see Chris Hemsworth, right? Like, let's just be honest about that. So you show up for reasons that motivate you. For guys watching this movie, and I'm hesitant to make a generalization,
I'll talk about the guys in the room.
Yeah, please do. I don't know what they're going to show up for because you don't see yourself in the lead characters in any way. The story itself is not necessarily enough that you're excited for the premise of the movie. And I don't know where this whole chunk of audience is going to feel like they fit. And if it's Marvel's intention to exclude them, great, you're achieving your objective. But if they're trying to take everyone on the journey, I don't think they're doing it well. Look, I think if you've got the opportunity to see it in cinemas, we went to an IMAX screening. The IMAX experience of this was brilliant. Like that adds something to it that just makes it a whole lot of fun. I do think it's, like, if you're a diehard fan, you're going to see it anyway. If you miss this, I don't think you're going to be missing much. It's okay if you don't see it. I feel like this is what I've said for a few of the movies we've reviewed in the last few weeks. They're like, take it or leave it, And it's like, yes. So I would kind of put this as a watch. If you're going to see it, go all out, do IMAX, do the cinema so you can fully experience it. But if you're kind of lukewarm to the whole idea anyway, it's okay to wait for streaming and watch this on a lazy Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be one that I kind of come down on probably with more of an emphatic no. It wouldn't go on my watch list. But that means, you know, the Marvel fans are going to go see it. And I say yes, if you're going to see it in cinemas, which I probably would say it's still worth seeing in cinemas. See it on the big one. See it on the big screen. Get a big bucket of popcorn and get your friends together. Go ahead and have some fun doing it. But this one doesn't go on my watch list as far as for the year. So just as a reminder, you know, you can definitely download the podcast wherever you find your podcasts, and also you can go to the YouTube channel, the Hope 103.2 YouTube channel, as well as other podcasts that Laura is a part of there at Hope 103.2. So we definitely encourage you to be a part of that. And we just thank you for being a part of the watch list. And until next time, grab your popcorn, grab a seat at the cinema, and we'll see you next time on the watch list.